Hey, evening viewers, welcome to the Taillight Show. Don't know if you can hear me. The little mate generator. I'm the generator. It could be a Foo Fighters song. He's keeping our house alive. I always get on here. I'll walk away so you can hear me a bit. So yeah, welcome to the Taillight Show. I always get on here and say about how being a tail light, you're not quite as bright as a headlight. About the brightest lights in our town at the moment, and in the whole area, not just our house, in the whole area, and I'm talking in the whole district and more. Oh, my hair, it's everywhere. Are tail lights, because none of us have any electricity. We've had no power since Tuesday, and we don't know when we're going to get power again. A massive storm came through here on Tuesday and caused all sorts of havoc. We lost a tree. There it is, or remains of it. Howdy. It actually hit my work van and punched all the A pillar in and did some damage, whatever. Plenty of other trees down along the street. Yeah, massive storm came through and took out electrical supply, which that's not uncommon. At the height of the storm, there was about 500,000 houses out of power. They're saying now 4 days going into 5 days tomorrow, that there's still 30,000 off the air. We're clearly one of them. And they don't know when the power's coming back on. AusNet, who's supposed to be the provider of electricity, sent us a message yesterday saying that the power would be back on at 6 o'clock last night. Well, I laughed when I saw that because there's still trees down across power lines, there's still main cables lying on the ground, there's drop wires from the poles to people's houses that have been ripped clean off the houses, and nobody's been out here to even assess it, even look at it, let alone do anything about it. Now, let's make something first and foremost here, folks. I am not having a go, and I emphasise that, not having a go at the crews who are out there busting their balls to get everything back online. They're working around the clock and they are doing a brilliant job with what they've got to work with. I can't commend them enough. They are the ones who have been thrown so far in the shit with this, and they're the ones that are expected to fix it, and it's not their fault. It's the fault of others, and I'll get to that. But yeah, they're working really hard to get it back on. We now don't know when our power is going to be back on. They're saying maybe Wednesday of next week. That'll make it 8 days. There's a rumour kicking around it could be another week on top of that. So we might be running on old mate Jenny. Wherever he is, there he is. We might be on him for 2 weeks. But that brings me to the reason of my video, folks, of why did this happen and what caused it. Now, it's very easy to sit there and say, oh, Mother Nature caused it. It was a big storm and it caused blackouts. Sorry, folks. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Okay, but it's a fucking crock of shit. It really is. Surprise, surprise, since the dawn of time, the world has seen and has known storm events. Okay? And sure as shit, storm events will happen again well beyond when I've kicked the bucket. Okay? Wasn't Mother Nature that caused this, okay? It was fucking bullshit artist politicians, right? And arsehole private companies, okay? Now, this all stems back to the 1980s in Victoria. If you're watching interstate or overseas, yeah, in Victoria, right? The 1980s, the incumbent Labor government under John Cain and then after him, Joan Kerner, sent this state broke, okay? Due to simple incompetence and stupidity, right, they sent the fucking state broke, right? And as a result, they went to the next election and they got voted out, okay? And the public decided to vote in a change of government. The Liberal government got in under Jeff Kennett. Now, Jeff Kennett made all the promises in the world of he was going to get the state out of debt. He never said how he was going to get the state out of debt, though, did he? Okay, he never said how he was going to do it. He just said, follow me, people, and I will lead you to the promised land. He did get the state out of debt. How did he get the state out of debt? He sold all of our public utilities, publicly owned utilities, okay? Our taxes paid for them, and our bills, like electricity, water, gas, all of that, was all government owned, in other words, publicly owned. He sold it all. Okay, sold it all to private enterprise to the highest bidder. Got the state out of debt, yeah, right? This leads me to why this problem has happened, right? And why we are going to have these problems more and more and more in the future, right? And why this shit is never going to change, right? Of why we were broke in this state 35 and 40 years ago, and why we are now paying the price for that, right? Because when all of our utilities, and I'm talking specifically here electricity, was publicly owned, okay, the electricity was taken care of by the SEC, by the State Electricity Commission, and part of what they did was they did a massive, massive amount of routine maintenance, inspections and maintenance, right? Clearing trees away from power lines, inspections of transmission cables and towers and things like that. They're made of steel. They deteriorate, okay? Towers, transmission towers and power cables are made of metal. They deteriorate, right? Poles are usually timber. They did a massive amount of inspections and replacements and upgrades and things like that, okay? That was part of their task. Now, when I was a kid, I grew up about 30 kilometres away from here, in an area that's part of this 30,000 homes that are off the air. I remember storms coming through when I was a kid. Power would go off for 4 hours, 5 hours, not 4 or 5 days or 14 or 15 fucking days, okay? It was because they did a massive amount of maintenance back in the day, right? And then when things failed, right, it was very easy to fix, okay? There wasn't the catastrophes they have now. These days, there is no maintenance done, right? These private companies are reactive organisations. They are not preventative organisations, okay? They do zero maintenance, right? Because it costs too much. It is cheaper to just deal with shit like this and pay people out on compensation if people complain. If you don't complain, you get fucking nothing, right? It is cheaper to just pay people out when everything goes to the shit than what it is to do it properly in the first place. Okay? So here we are. Supposedly a modern westernised country in 2024 operating on fucking generators for up to 2 weeks, right? Because of asshole politicians 35 and 40 years ago that fucked the state over, right? And then the next lot that came along sold everything off and fucked us over now, and we're dealing with private enterprise that simply don't give a shit, right? AusNet. We pay more money now for our provision of electricity supply to our house than we ever have. Costs of all utilities, not just electricity, all utilities are at record prices. Yet we don't fucking have any. Call me stupid, call me dull, I don't know, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, this is what caused it. Not Mother Nature. We've had storms, we will have storms. It's as simple as that. But while we've got companies that just take our money and don't give anything back, right? Whereas in the past, when they were government-owned utilities and the public owned it and everything was done properly, blackouts came and went, you'd be off the air, as I said, for 4 or 5 hours, not 4 or 5 days or multiple weeks. Have we progressed as a society? No. That brings me up to another point, doesn't it? They say that to save the world, we all should drive electric cars. You don't have to fucking drive them when you can't charge them. But I suppose that will save the world because we can't charge them, can we? So we'll all be sitting at home while little hermits inside our houses, basically locked down because we can't go anywhere. Shouldn't say the word lockdown, should I? And who was that caused by? Politicians. There's a theme in this, isn't there, folks? Stay dull.